In 2016, Boeing asked the FAA if it was okay to remove all references to MCAS from the Flight Crew Operations Manual and training material. That request was based in part on Boeing's representation that MCAS, quote, only operates way outside of the normal operating envelope. Is that not true?
I believe that is true, that I can't verify the date, but I believe what you're saying is true.
So let me suggest this to you, or ask you. On March the 30th, about the same day, Boeing's chief technical pilot at the time, Mark Faulkner, emailed the FAA with the following request. Are you okay with us removing all references to MCAS from the operating manual and the training as we discussed, as it's completely transparent to the flight crew and only operates way outside of the normal operating envelope? The normal operating envelope being the term that flight conditions a commercial airline passenger might reasonably experience. Is that correct?
As Mr. Muhlenberg has discussed, it's an iterative process that we go back and forth with the FAA, what needs to be in the training manual, what doesn't. And collectively, the FAA and Boeing reached an agreement that, that the description of the MCAS did not need to be in the training manual.
And Mr. Faulkner requested that, is that correct?
Yes, and Mr. Faulkner's role as chief technical pilot would be the prime interface with the FAA on that.
So he said that was way outside the normal operating envelope, talking about conditions or airplane maneuvers that are beyond what a commercial airline passenger would normally experience, right? That's right, isn't it, Mr. Hamilton? That Mr. Faulkner said that it was outside the normal procedures. You normally wouldn't have that occur on a commercial airline.
He's referring to the MCAS envelope being outside?
Yeah, MCAS should have been transparent to the pilots and assist them only as they approached what we refer to as high alpha or high attitude type conditions.
All right. MCAS didn't activate outside the normal operating envelope on Lion Air. In fact, MCAS activated within the normal operating envelope on that flight. Is that not correct?
Yes, MCAS reacted to a faulty sensor input and operated as it was designed, yeah.
So Captain Faulkner repeated this representation to the FAA as late as January of 2017 after Boeing had changed MCAS to operate at lower speeds in just a few short months before the FAA finally certified the plane. In a recently released email exchange in which he was discussing changes that were needed for MAX pilot training, he reminded the FAA, quote, delete MCAS. Recall we decided we weren't going to cover it in the flight operating manual or the CBT since it's way outside the normal operating envelope. That's get it out of the flight crew operations manual and outside the computer-based training. In hindsight, would you not agree that Captain Faulkner either one, did not understand, two, downplayed, or at worst, three, concealed the fact that under a scenario that known to Boeing, the failure of a single angle of attack sensor, MCAS could activate within the normal operating envelope?
Again, I was not part of those conversations. I think that was part of leading up to the Fleet Standardization Board meeting and understanding what needed to be presented in that meeting.
You might not have been part of it, but you're an expert. You're an engineer. You're a vice president of Boeing.
That's correct.
Would you not agree in hindsight that Faulkner either did not understand, downplayed it, or concealed a fact that under a scenario known to Boeing, failed to talk to MCAS to act about what would go on?
Congressman...
Mr. Hamilton, would you answer my question?
Absolutely. Congressman, I don't know what was going through Captain Faulkner's mind. What he knew, what he didn't know, I don't want to speculate on that.
Mr. Muhlenberg, you want to respond?
Congressman, the only point I was adding is that the MCAS is originally designed. The idea is for it to operate outside the normal envelope, and then the extension to the low-speed envelope, which I think you were referring to, again, that was something that was tested and certified with the FAA from roughly mid-2016 to early 2017.
Let me ask you this, Mr. Muhlenberg. You said you're accountable. What does accountability mean? Are you taking a cut and pay? Are you working for free from now on until you can cure this problem? These people's relatives are not coming back. They're gone. Yep. Your salary's still on. Is anybody at Boeing taking a cut or working for free to try to rectify this problem like the Japanese would do?
Congressman, it's not about the money for me. That's not why I came to
Are you
Boeing.
giving up any money?
Congressman, My board will conduct a comprehensive review.
So you're saying you're not giving up any compensation at all. You're continuing to work and make $30 million a year after this horrific 2 accidents that caused all these people's relatives to go, to disappear, to die. You're not taking a cut in pay at all?
Congressman, again, our board will make those determinations.
You're not accountable then. You're saying the board's accountable.
Congressman, I am accountable, sir.
Gentleman's time has expired. With that, we turn to Representative Graves.